My name is Basil McJagger, and I live in Bluff Springs, Texas, which is literally across the street from Austin, Texas. I was born in Omaha, Nebraska in 1973, and then 3 years later, my family moved to Lincoln. I grew up in Lincoln, went all through high school at East High School, and then graduated from the University of Nebraska in 1999. From 1996 to 2000, I was in a band called the Self-Righteous Brothers, and that involved Mike Keeling, Brian Johnson, Bruce Burbach, guys like that. It was a 7-piece rock and roll band masquerading as a lounge act from Scotland. We wore white tuxedos, and we made the ladies go a tither. Now I play full-time in a band called the Derailers. I also play with other acts as needed, such as Jesse Dayton and his band, the Cornell Herd Band. I play with Miss LaBelle White, and really anybody who wants to call me and hire me for a gig. The stereotype of Nebraska being an empty, population-less place, you know, a cornfield, and I think it's unfortunate that most people's experience is driving through on I-80, which goes through, you know, arguably the least scenic part of perception is that there's not much going on in Nebraska, and I wish people would get beyond that perception and that stereotype to discover some of the really great bands that are coming from there. And that there's a thriving music scene both in Lincoln and in Omaha, and that it's worth checking out. It includes the Saddle Creek fellas, who are all excellent, Connor and the Saddle Creek guys, but it's also a whole lot more than that. There's some really great bands of all genres in Lincoln and Omaha. In my experience with bands who have gotten out and traveled a lot from there, the Mescal Brothers come to mind, Mercy Rule, people like that, even Sideshow. Nebraskans are real proud of Nebraska, and it warms my heart to see somebody who's proud of something besides sporting teams from Nebraska. I think the more Nebraska bands get out and travel around the country and around the world, they'll be spreading the gospel themselves. This is a shirt from the Boom Chick record label, which is a Havelock, Nebraska record label, run by Liz and Brooks Hitt, and I'm a big fan of bands such as the Terminals and Brimstone Howell. I love to perform in Nebraska. I love going home to Lincoln, and I love playing there. I left Lincoln 11 years ago, and since then I am just amazed at what the scene has done. It's become a scene that works together. The club owners advertise and help promote each other's shows. The bands are working together. There are bloggers and website people, web people like y'all that are working together. There's much more of a team effort happening to promote the whole thing, and that's happening in a way that it didn't happen when I still lived there, and I think that's really positive and exciting.